Howdy, nerdy romantics. I'm so happy to be talking more books today. I love my romance reads, and it is that time of year for beach romance reads. So, we are going to recommend a whole list of beach romance reads today. I cannot wait. I have with me today Jen and Carla. Jen, Carla, how y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing great.
Doing good.
Yes, I'm so happy about it. So, we are going to get into this big list, so stay tuned, everyone. This is the Nerdy Romantics Podcast, and I'm your host, Y.M. Nelson. All right, ladies, I'm happy to have you here. How's things been going with you? Good?
Good.
Oh yeah, so good. So
Right,
good.
great.
Mhm.
So, I've asked y'all to do some looking into your covers or recommending some good reads that you've just come by, or maybe that you haven't just come by. That would be great to take for a vacation on the beach. And Carla, how about we start with you? You have a couple for me here. So tell me, what beach reads do you have to recommend today?
Okay, so when I do a beach read, I like it to transport me, take me somewhere different or a different setting, something out of the ordinary. So my first one is called Jewel Me Twice, which is a pun, jewel as in jewel thief, and it's by Charish Reid, and it's a heist rom-com. And I gotta tell you, I love a good heist. I love Ocean's 11, loved Ocean's 8, any Oceans, anything like that where there's a con or a swindle or a jewel theft. This is my jam. So I really, really like this book. It's about two Celeste and Magnus who used to work together on this crew. They had a passionate fling and they haven't seen each other in years. Things went south in Stockholm, I believe. And now they're teaming up again for like another score. And of course, there's lots of feelings, lots of sort of repressed anger and lust, kind of steamy, and also some fun heist scenes. So if you like a heist or if you like that kind of action, it's really, really fun.
Oh my
Oh my god.
gosh. Jen and I said it at the same time. I love it because
Yeah,
I love a heist. Oh my
me
god.
too.
oh yeah, you got the right audience for this. Us nerdy romantics, we love a good heist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm all about this. So you did say kind of steamy, so I'm gonna pull out my chili pepper meter again here. One is not really that steamy. Five is like Sierra Simone, like, oh my gosh, it's graphic. So what do you consider this one?
Probably like a 3. There's definitely scenes, there's some detail, but it's just one man, one woman, nothing like wild, but they're good steamy scenes.
All right.
They're good, yeah.
I like it. I like it. And so you've already recommended it for for us nerdy folks who love a
Yes.
good heist movie. Anything or a good heist story, I should say. Is this part of a series, by the way?
I don't know, it just came out last year, so I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
sure, but I think one of the things I liked about it too is there's so much sexual tension between the 2 characters. And there's just that if you like second chance romances, which I do, there's a lot of that, regret mixed with longing, mixed with sort of anger and banter. There's a lot of that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are some of the good tropes there? But yes, second chance
Yes.
romance. Gotta love
Yeah.
that. Yes. So what's the other one you have for
Okay.
us?
So this one was really hit me by surprise. It's called Adam and Evie's Matchmaking Tour by Nora Wen. And it's about a woman she's kind of like flatlined. Her job's being not that great. The guy she's dating is kind of a lame guy. And there's just a lot of things going wrong. And her favorite aunt has died and left her this beautiful San Francisco like town row house or something. But in order to get it, she has to go on a matchmaking tour in Vietnam. She is Vietnamese and she's never really explored the country of her heritage. And it's a luxury tour too. It's like really, really nice. And she's sort of, first she's like, no, I have a job, but then she loses her job. So she goes on this tour. And I have to tell you, like, this is one of the best travel romances I've read. Like, after I read this, I wanted to book a tour to Vietnam. It is
Wow.
incredible. The details of like the city and the beaches, and they go in these caves. It's just beautiful. And there's so much of the culture in it. And the guy she ends up sort of at first not liking is the sort of marketing officer of the tour who's grumpy and he's very rigid and kind of a hardline guy. She's kind of a free spirit. She's a poet. And they, of course, clash. He's annoyed with her, but he's also attracted to her. It's very opposites attract, very much so, as tropes
Wow.
go.
Yeah.
But they're the fire in them grows. They are attract, even though like his family's much more rigid. They're like, this is an American, even though she's Vietnamese. So there's a lot of that. But it's really, really like if you want to take an escape to a different country, this is the kind of book that will just really transport you.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Vietnam, and I think this was last year when I watched this. There was a rom-com that was kind of like a travel rom-com
Mhm.
kind of thing, and it was a little bit enemies to lovers as well between the guide and the person that came from America. But anyway,
Mhm.
they went to Vietnam, but the scenes were so gorgeous. They were
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
amazing. I'm just like, I have to go to Vietnam.
Me
They're
too.
just it's so beautiful there. Oh my gosh. And now you're saying this book is gonna transport me too. So I've got to go.
Yeah, and there's lots of good food in there. They're always eating, like, different, like,
Oh my
Vietnamese
goodness.
specialties, and there's lots of talk about food. I just really, really liked it, and you can tell it's authentic. Like, you can tell the author has been there. Like, she in the on the at the end in the author's note, she mentions having gone there, so you can tell
Yeah.
that from reading it.
Oh, nice, nice.
Love,
So what
love.
about this on the Jen, I'm sorry, you were saying?
Oh, I just said I love when authors bring an authenticity to a story. And so I don't know this author's relationship to Vietnam, but when the story comes across as someone who's really been there and they can incorporate, little details and little facts and all that kind of stuff is always a good time. And heaven knows I love me a book with lots of food in it.
Mhm. Me too.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm all about it. All
Oh, yeah.
about it. Oh my gosh.
So this is, probably 2.5
Yeah.
chili peppers. Little less spicy than the heist one, but not like there's definitely some scenes. There's again, lots of good sexual tension. Yeah, a lot of longing, that kind of thing, which I love.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Like a slow burn kind of thing or just like
It's kind of
quick?
slow-ish. I can't remember like what the percentage is. It takes them a while to get there. There's
Yeah.
some missed opportunities as often happens, in a story where you're like, "Ooh, they're so close."
Ooh, I love
Yeah.
that. Oh gosh. Oh, well, you're already starting us off with
Yeah.
some really good books here, Carla. Jen, what about you? Are you going to keep us going here? I know you have two categories, so explain, or at least a few categories, so explain.
I do. I have so many books I want to talk to you about. Okay. So since we've done a couple of contemporary romances, so I'm gonna switch gears and I'm gonna do some that are in the like paranormal slash fantasy more world. And this one, I know you're gonna love it because I know how you feel about superheroes, my nerdy romantic. Secret Spark by Kelly Farmer is a really fun book. It's set in a city like kind of like Gotham, where there's a whole bunch of superheroes that all live there. There's a bunch of supervillains that all live there. There's animosity between those two groups and so forth. But we start off learning a little bit about a local barista, and our local barista finds out that there's a cute woman who has moved in across the hall from her in her apartment building, and she does a little bit of flirting, and then she gets the sense that this woman who's very cute probably has superpowers. And she kind of gets excited about the idea of a superhero living across the hall.
Whoa.
So but it's all good because this is another one of those books though that is so one of the things I love about a beach read is that, there's not too much drama or like deeply emotional, sort of stories. So this is one that does keep it pretty light in terms of how serious that this story is, but it keeps it super fun because honestly, this villain is tired of being a villain. And what she'd really like to do is open a food truck. So
I love it.
there's going to be some good food chat.
Yes.
So yeah, and it's very, very cool. So I really had a great time reading this book. I was so, I love me a superhero story. So
Me too. One
really
thing I read it too, and one thing I liked was it talks about collateral damage, which you never get in Marvel. That's one of the biggest things because I think at the beginning
Yes.
the windows of her barista or coffee shop gets shattered or something, and she's trying to deal with it. And like, you always see the Marvel superheroes like destroying stuff, and nobody talks about, oh gee, we have to rebuild all these stores. And
Right.
I love that it didn't bring you down. It's still superheroes, but I love that it mentioned that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It did. It
cool.
talked about some of that collateral damage and what happens to your insurance rates when
Mhm.
you live in a
Yeah.
city like that. There was,
Right?
there's like enough of that to just kind of keep it fun and keep it really
Mhm.
light. So another book that I have that falls into that sort of fantasy realm is it's the first book in a new series, and I'm just loving it. It's called Our Ship Must Sail, and this is the story of two pirates that are on ships that fly through the sky. So they are up in the clouds.
Nice.
There's some, they're not super, that's not called superpowers, but there's definitely people that have abilities. There's all kinds of wonderful, fun, light, a lot of humor, a lot of sarcasm if you like that type of a voice in your book. So this one is really, really fun. It was inspired by, it's not based on by any means, but it was definitely inspired by the TV show Our Flag Means Death, where we have Blackbeard and Stephen Bonnet, and the two that are very opposite. They come at piracy in two very, very different ways. So in this story we have these two lady pirates who could not be more different, and they end up together and on the same ship, and it is just a ton of fun. It has all those like wonderful comfort moments of, oh, what if I make you some tea? I don't want tea. So it makes it really fun. And the only thing better than a pirate book, than a pirate story, is a female pirate story. So
Yeah.
we've got lots of strong women characters, and they are not afraid to shed blood. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with a pirate book is that a lot of times when you're reading a pirate book, you are very likely to end up with sword fights, and there's lots of action, and this author really knows what she's doing when she puts together that type of two ships battling in the skies. There's there's a lot of bloodshed, and a lot of people are killed in the process, and yet they keep it light and funny. So go with me on this one. Like it's
Okay.
so it's the characters that have their bloodshed they're not characters that so it's kind of handled in like a lot of funny, silly sort of way. So it keeps it pretty light, but the story itself it's really a great fantasy world to operate in. So
Mm.
really, really love that series. She has book 2 is going to be coming out this summer, so it's a great time to just sort of disappear into the clouds with a pirate crew, and then be able to find out what happens in book 2. So that is Our Ship Must Sail, and definitely recommend that one
I
to
like
get
it.
going in.
All right.
So yeah, so we love that. And if we want to kind of stick in the fantasy world just a little bit more. Okay. This is another like fairly new series. Book 2 in the series is out, but I'm going to talk about book 1 in the series. This one is called Only Mostly Dead, and it's by a really fantastic author named Allie Temple. And what we have here is we have a woman who is she is a life coach. She is a YouTube influencer. She has built up a really tremendous following, and for reasons that are explained in chapter 1, she has passed. But it turns out that dying is the easy part. She is trying to find her way through the bureaucracy of Afterlife Incorporated.
Wow.
And it is not the easiest thing for her to figure out. So she kind of gets a little sidetracked. She ends up going in the wrong direction, and she meets up with this fairly enigmatic character named Kelly, who she's shocked that Kelly can see her because our heroine is a ghost. Kelly can see her though. Kelly interacts with her, and Kelly doesn't want anything to do with her because, well, it turns out Kelly used to be a Grim Reaper, but Kelly got fired.
What?
Well, he does have a clear understanding of what happens at Afterlife Incorporated, are just not that interested in helping our heroine find her way through it. So,
Oh my gosh.
and again, there's a lot of dead people when we're talking about Afterlife Incorporated. But this is another author who really has a deft hand in creating an intricate fantasy world and keeping things very, very light. So keep an eye on that. It's very funny. I love the cat. I'm just going to tell you, there is a cat that's involved. Because we all know that cats can see ghosts. We all know cats can see ghosts, right?
Yes,
like that's
of course.
So we have a cat who is on the moody side, but very charming. And yeah, so a lot of good stuff happens in Only Mostly Dead. And like I said, book 2 is already out, and I happen to know, insider knowledge here, that there is going to be a book 3 as well. So I think that this would be fun. It's just a really fun series to not take too seriously and really feel like really have a good time just sort of exploring the adventures that these folks go on and the various folks that they meet along the way.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
For these 3, like Secret Spark, are you giving this one, what chili pepper rating are we giving?
Oh my God, we totally forgot to do chili pepper.
It's okay.
We forgot. Okay. So, funny enough, let's see. Only Mostly Dead, we're on like the 0 to half of a chili pepper. Okay. That is like that's a super low spice type of situation here.
So that's considered a sweet romance, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then same as sweet. It's
sweet and dead. I love it.
And then we have Our Ship Must Sail. That one also super low on the spice scale. So it's been a minute since I read it all the way to the end, but as I recall, I know there's some kissing, but I think that's as far as we go.
Okay.
I do not believe any.
Maybe one scene, but it wasn't super detailed. I think it's way towards the end. Maybe, I can't remember.
Did you read Our Ship Must Sail?
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Super Spark one. Are you talking about
Secret Spark? Yes. So Secret Spark does have. So Secret Spark is like the next level. I would put Secret Spark at like 1.5 to 2 chili peppers. There is one scene between our heroines and with no clothing. So there's just the one. Yeah, there's just the one. So I think those are the 4 books I talked about.
Yeah. Yes.
I have 3.
Yeah.
I have more. I have more books to talk about, though. If we have time. If we have time, we'll dive into a few others, including one, and only if there's time at the end, I will talk about like that super spicy one that we can talk about if we want.
Okay. Now you know we're gonna have time at the end for that. Hello. Oh, do you know me or what? So
I know, right? The great thing about podcasts is that we don't have to stay at a certain and exact time period. So there will definitely be
exactly.
time. I'm not going to talk about the super spicy one until we get to the very end. So,
All right then. Okay, Miss Jen. Well, I do have a couple, and while Jen is getting her super spicy list together, or her spicier list together, I'm going to talk about a couple. I'm going to talk about one that I definitely have read, and one that I'm going to read this summer as a beach read, because I'm very excited about it. And it's not new, but there is a book two out that I think is fairly new. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is called Only for the Week, and it's by Natasha Bishop. And that one is the one that I read. When I think beach read, I guess the first thing that I think of is maybe being in, or if I'm thinking beach read, I'm thinking maybe summer, but I'm
mm-hmm.
also thinking maybe beach. So this one actually happens on a beach. But the other thing that I really like about a beach read, I don't know how y'all feel about it, is maybe it being, I don't want to say short, but it being like a page turner. Like we're turning pages.
Yeah.
We're not really thinking too much about it. Both of y'all have said, light and fluffy or fun, those kinds of things. And I'm thinking all of those with that. But I like a good page turner, but I also like for scenes on a beach. And so this one, Only for the Week, is set in Tulum, Mexico, which is a
Ooh.
beach. Which has a beach. Our main characters, Dr. Janelle Cross and billionaire Rome Martin, are in Tulum because their family and friends are getting married. So Janelle's sister is getting married to Rome's best friend. So Janelle's sister is A. Marie. Rome's best friend is Arnold. Just so happens that Rome's best friend Arnold and Janelle dated.
Ooh,
Of course they did.
painful.
Yikes, right. So Janelle is actually going to a wedding for her ex-boyfriend and her sister.
Ooh,
So yikes on this one. I wasn't sure how this was going to end up. Were there going to be chairs flying? I mean, what was actually going to go on? So they go to Tulum for 2 weeks, actually. So the first week is the wedding party. They're the only ones there. So that's where the Only for the Week comes in, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But the second week is the week where the family and the guests come in and they do all the wedding stuff, like the rehearsal and all of
mhm.
that kind of stuff. And so the first week is supposed to just kind of be a vacation week, kind of a laid back week. The wedding party is just getting there and just chilling out and having a good vacation. Well, that does not exactly happen here because the bride, Janelle's sister, is a little bit of a type A slash
Bridezilla?
worrier. Yeah. Yes.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
She is a little bit off the chain. She has issues, which you learn about as you read, but you could tell right off the bat that she's got a few issues, and a few of those issues have to do with her sister. It's like, as I was reading, I was like, "Are you jealous? I mean, what do you think is going on? I mean, yes, I know you are marrying her ex-boyfriend, but you need to kinda get over this if you're gonna actually marry this
Yeah.
dude, right? You need to get secure." I was thinking that in the very first kind of week. Well, anyway, Rome has always been attracted to Janelle, but of course, Rome knows Janelle through Arnold, who is the ex-boyfriend. So Rome knows her because Arnold was dating her. And so he's kind of stayed away for a long time. But, they're not together anymore. And Rome just happens to be single. And Janelle just happens to be single. And they are both on this trip. Janelle is getting all stressed out because her sister is what we've said her sister is. So Rome decides in his big gallant way that he says, "Why don't we just hook up for a week and just hang out for a week?" This,
Oh, such a gentleman.
right?
You
You
know,
know?
I'm here to help you with your stress.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
What could go
goodness,
wrong?
Right.
a billionaire, a billionaire is here to help me relieve my stress. Gosh,
That's
that's
it.
so sweet of him. Um,
He's just
love
one
it.
big stress ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh boy. So I'm not gonna say anything else, but this is steamy, y'all. This one is steamy. I'm giving this probably a 3.5
Ooh.
to, I'll just say 3.5 to 4. Only because of the number of sex scenes, not because they're all wild and crazy and everything like that.
Mhm.
Although they are a little wild. I mean, it's vacation again. They're on vacation. And from a trope perspective, is the he falls first trope because he's been in love with
Mhm.
her
Mhm.
forever. But I will say one thing about this that maybe is not really congruous with beach reads, in my opinion, is for people who are triggered by gaslighting, for people who are triggered by emotional abuse,
Mhm.
I would say be cautious of this one. There is, I mean, obviously, from the whole sister thing and their relationship there's something going on there that,
Mhm.
is affecting Janelle. Janelle is, I don't want to say she's a people pleaser, but you know how it is when it comes to family.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
tend to
Yeah.
please them a little bit more than you would somebody else.
Mhm.
And so she does have that soft spot for her family where I think her family needs a stronger hand than what she gives her family. So this one does have that. And the author actually has a note of that in the beginning. When you first read it, there's an author's note about this gaslighting and everything so that you go in and you're aware. This particular book, I think it is book one of a series. Don't quote me on that. But what I do know about it is that it has a cartoon cover now, but it had a photo cover before. Natasha Bishop first put it out as an independent author, so it's been out for a while. And then publishing company has actually put it out again. So
Really?
recently it's got some more buzz because they got the rights and put it out again. It has a lot of bonus scenes at the end, which I don't think that the independent version has. So this version with the cartoon cover, it has bonus scenes at the end. And like I said, I think there is a book 2 coming out because kind of remember one of the sneak peek scenes, but I try not to read some of the sneak peek scenes because I want the whole book to unfold when I get to
I'm
it.
with you. I
Okay.
don't read sneak peek scenes. Hey, all power and love to anybody who loves a sneak peek scene, but I am not that person.
Yeah.
I don't like a sneak peek. I just want to read the book like la la la. Don't tell me anything.
Right.
So,
Like once I'm kind of in it and I realize I'm going to
yeah.
read book 2 if there's a book 2, then I
Mhm.
don't want to read the sneak peek scene.
Mhm.
If I get to the end of the book and I'm still like, well, am I going to pick up book 2? I might read the sneak peek scene.
Okay,
But
fair.
like with this one, I like her writing. I like these characters are just all in my world. They are speaking my language. I love it. And I'm going to read book 2 whenever I get my hands on it. I will say this one, I did get this one from Hoopla. And y'all, I'm pro library. All of y'all know that. But I got this one from Hoopla and I had to wait for it, y'all. I mean, I had
Mhm.
to really wait for it. And it's been out for a while. So yeah, I already know what kind of weight I'm in for that one. So the next book that I want to recommend is actually a book that I haven't read yet. And I know I haven't read it yet. I'm kind of
Man.
I'm kind of holding off on it a little bit because, well, let me just read what it's about and you'll probably kind of a little bit figure out why I might be holding off on it for a little bit. So this book is called Curvy Girl Summer. This
Ooh.
is definitely book 1. It's by Danielle Allen, and Plus Size Player
I
has
have been seeing stuff about this book.
yes.
I can't wait to read it either. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay.
Keep going. Say more. Say
I love
more.
the excitement. So, second book, I think, is Plus Size Player, but Plus Size Player is already out. I saw it on Kindle Unlimited. I just can't put it in my library because I got too many books in my library already, which is why I have to read this one. So, I'm going to actually read the book description. So, for those of y'all who are triggered by the book description, why are you here? We're talking about books. I don't know why you're here, but welcome. Anyway, let's see. There's got to be an easier way. This is a quote. There's got to be an easier way than dating. I want the shortcut. I just want to find my person and start our lives together. End quote. After a one night stand with her clingy ex, Aaliyah James has an epiphany. This ain't it. She knows what she wants and she's ready to move past casual hookups, flings, and situationships. But for her family, the clock is ticking. After all, she's almost 30. And when they imply that her personality and her body might be too
Mhm.
big to land a man, she lets them know that they've gone too far. And her non existent man loves her curves. Thank you very much. Now she has 7 weeks to find the perfect boyfriend to rub in their faces at the big fancy birthday celebration she's been planning. Oh boy.
Oh my god.
after
It's a great setup.
after her first blind date goes wrong, charming local bartender Ahmad Williamson consoles her with a drink and some playful banter. Aaliyah takes him up on his suggestion to use a dating app, but the more she sees of his warm, funny, and easygoing nature, the less she wants to check her DMs. Will her next swipe bring her closer to true love, or is her real match closer than she thinks? Okay, so
Sounds good.
I have been dying to read this. It sounds very fun. I've actually started reading this because, again, this is on Kindle Unlimited, and so it's in my library. I started reading this, and I'm already going to tell you this is probably about 4 chili peppers,
Ooh.
and I've only read half of the first chapter. Okay,
I believe
so it starts off with the
Woo.
one night
Okay.
stand that's in the book description with her
that. Mhm.
Ooh.
stank ex. Yeah, it's already starting off with sex. So I was like, whoa, okay, I need to back up and I need to get ready for this one. So that's why I haven't read it yet. That and I'll just do honorable mention here. Everybody knows Kennedy Ryan has a book coming out called Can't Get Enough. It's book 3 in her series, and she gets a lot of press, so we'll give her that press. But I'm already reading that one for a review. And I know I'm going to need a bit of a pick me up. If we know Kennedy Ryan's
Oh,
books, we
yeah.
know that they are very emotional. And that book, it's in the book description, so I'm not spoiling it, but that book is dealing with a parent who has Alzheimer's, which that is a personal subject for me. So I already know I'm going to need a pick me up. So that's why I'm saving this book. I'm saving this book for after that one, which comes out in May. May 16th is the release. So it's already on pre-order now. So I'm kind of saving this one for after because I think I'm going to need a pick me up.
Okay. First
Yes.
of all, I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
For planning your self-care that
Thank
is
you.
required.
Actually,
after
thank
the
you.
Hawaiian book. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, honestly, we need to do more of this. We need to do more of this. We just got to talk about it because there are people out there like Kennedy Ryan that are gonna, like, you know, pull your heart out.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna hurt, and you are just gonna be you're gonna thank her for it.
Mhm.
Yes.
I have seen people at the Kennedy Ryan table at signings, and most of them cry. And I love who she is because it's just she's just such a wonderful person.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
She's
but I'm very proud of you though that you have, like, okay, this one's going to make me happy, and we're gonna save it. So I love that you did that.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna save it for that. Also, part of it too is I am writing book 3 of the Accidental Lover series. And
Yay!
yeah, so this one has kind of some of the similar notes from book 1. Is obviously it's not the same book as the Accidental Swipe, but it has some similar notes. And I'm like, I want to really get into it, and I don't want to think about my book either when I'm reading it. I just want to get into this one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but what I really love that Danielle Allen does, and I love that there's more than just us in this space, but I love that there's somebody else in this space that's writing plus size women. She's actually writing Black romance. I write interracial though, but I love that she's writing grown plus size women. I love that. And I love that. Yes,
That's great.
I love it.
Oh my God, she's okay. So, not to brag, but
Okay, just brag.
I got to have lunch with Danielle Allen over the summer. No, last October. So she was at the Romance Readers and Writers Experience in DC, and that event is going to happen again. And I think they are going to be moving it around, so it's going to be in Niagara Falls this year. And October, it's in October again. So it's RRAW RRAW experience with Shea Bonham. I don't know if Danielle Allen is going or not, but I can tell you. So she was there for this event. Oh my God, she's just a lovely person. She was just the sweetest person to chat with, and I was like, I know her, but she's not a client, so I wasn't sure. I was like, how do I know her? How do I know her? Dad, because I read her books.
Right?
I know how silly that sounds, but I read a lot of books.
You
And
do.
so
You
a
do.
lot of times I just think, oh, I must have read this as, as part of a job, but I didn't read her for a job. I just read her for fun. And oh, she's just awesome, and just a lovely, 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 lovely person who writes really, really good books. And so now we're Facebook friends because I'm just cool that way. No.
All right, Jen.
She's up for an award, and I am just happy for her.
That's
She's just one of
awesome.
those people that I just want to read every single book that she puts out. So, just a lovely person.
Yeah.
So
That is
so read
awesome. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. And I think that she is actually also on the roster to be at Black Romance Book Festival in Atlanta, which is on May 30th, I think, through June 1st. It is already sold out. So I think she's on that roster.
Are you going to that?
I'm trying to get a press pass because don't y'all want the podcast to be on?
Yeah, of
Oh my
course.
God, that's brilliant. Yes, the
Yes.
podcast needs to be there. The podcast needs to be there. Oh my gosh, what if
Mhm.
you like set up just a whole like podcast studio and have people come in?
Oh my
So
gosh.
cool.
Okay, speaking it
Yeah.
into existence. Hi, Black
Yes,
Romance
manifest.
Book Festival. How are you?
It's called manifesting. Look it up.
That's right.
I love this. I love this. But
Yes,
yes,
speak it, do it, be it. Love it.
I'm all about all of this. Yes. And I'm, of course, all about this Danielle Allen book and the follow up book. I already know I want to read the follow up book. I'm scheduling my time for it so I could just really
Good.
enjoy it. And I don't necessarily consider this a beach read because it's a little bit on the heavier side compared
Mhm.
to the accidental swipe. But I'm going to make a self plug. How about that? Because it's my
Yeah.
podcast. The
Yeah.
accidental proposal is obviously the paperback has been out forever, but
Mhm.
it is coming out in ebook in late July. So, hey,
Yeah.
if you have that Labor Day beach time, or maybe August beach time, or maybe
Heck
even very late
yeah.
July beach time, you can get this one. It will be well, I shouldn't say everywhere because everything's not everywhere, but it will be in more than just Amazon in July. It will be
Love
on
it.
Barnes and
Oh,
Noble,
I'm
Kobo,
excited.
things like that.
Yay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Oh, I'm very excited to read that one. Thank you.
Yes, so I'm excited about that too. And of course, most importantly, it will be in the ebook will be in libraries. So paperback is already in libraries, but the ebook will be in libraries. So you can get it on Hoopla, which we've been
Yay
talking
for Hoopla.
about.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yes. So I'm excited about that, but I'm also excited, Jen, to know about what other books you got on your
Oh,
list.
all right. We have a couple spicy things. Let's talk about spicy books for a second because
Yes.
there's nothing better when you're just hanging out and you're on vacation and we're going to get spicy with it. Okay. So, the first spicy book I'm going to mention is called Change of Heart by Kate Canterbury. And this lady writes a fantastic, really fabulous book. But this one is one of the more, this one was so fun because this is a gender swap wedding crashers meets Grey's Anatomy. And
What?
never in my life would I have thought putting all those words together would be fun. But this is a book that opens with a wedding. Two best friends are attending a wedding. They're there to have a good time. It turns out that they do not know these people. They do not know the bride or the groom. But and if you've ever seen the Wedding Crashers movie with who is it? Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
So they have a great time at the wedding. She has a one night stand with the very tall and hunky Henry. And because there are rules if you are going to crash weddings. She sticks to most of them, not all of them. And so she sneaks out and she and her best friend that also enjoys crashing weddings, they sneak out and they leave early the next morning and off they go. So Henry has had the best one night stand of his life. He's had a great time. And so he keeps asking his friend that just got married, about this woman. And she's not on the guest list. And he's just like, "Wait, okay, hold on. Wait. But she was real. Like she's a real person. Surely, but everybody's had a bit to drink, so they're like, you're remembering it wrong." He's like, "No, seriously." Anyway, so so he spends the summer kind of looking for her but doesn't find her and has just resolved himself to the idea that maybe she just never existed until he shows up on his first day of his internship at the hospital in Boston. And who walks in? Oh, that's right. His amazing one night stand,
Oh
who is
boy.
now one of his bosses. Oh, we love this.
Oh my.
We love this. So it's a great setup, and anybody who watched the first season of Grey's Anatomy
Mhm.
knows this setup. We love it so much, and this is it's such a really great thing. Whitney is a superstar transplant surgeon, and so when we talk about change of heart, there's a lot that happens with hearts. So it's just it's a really great book. It really kind of dives into, I love a STEM heroine. I love people who are good at their jobs and still figure out how to make the private life side of things work out. So highly recommend. And this, again, we start off with the one night stand. So we're starting off hot, and we just continue with the hotness. Although I will say, because, clearly we are not going to cross lines with HR on this one. There is no touching there for a while, but we love a little tension. We love a little
Yes.
tension in the workplace. So that is a great one. And then we're going to go straight off the spicy pepper scale. We've got that one. I'd put Change of Heart, kind of like what you were saying with some of the other books. In terms of spice, we're talking about a 3.5 to 5, right? But you want to go 5 to 5.5 or 6?
All
Yeah.
right, off the scale.
Where we're going for our Monstrous Menage by Maria Shield. Now, this is a story that takes place in ancient Greece. We have our fabulous hero, Theseus, who is there to defeat and kill the Minotaur. It's pulled straight out of mythology. But guess what happens in the dark and scary tunnels of the labyrinth? Nobody loses their head, but somebody gets some head. I'm just going to tell you.
That's a great tagline.
Oh my gosh. And that is our witty pun session, everybody.
But you may have noticed it is called our Monstrous Menage. So those two men, the Minotaur and our Theseus hero, they are not alone in this process. We have the most amazing island princess that is there, and she is the one that knows all the secrets of the labyrinth and all of the Minotaur's secret spots. So
Woo.
we love her, and again, talk about somebody who is good at her job. Well,
Oh boy.
so she's a fabulous character, and this was really fun. What's great, what I really love about Maria Shield too is that this.
What? What is he doing?
Sorry, my dog got stuck in my
gosh.
sweater, and just he's having a moment here. Let me just sorry. You can cut this out if you want to. Hi everybody, this is Ozzy. Hey, Ozzy, sit here. All right. Anyway,
Ozzy's having a great
here's
time.
what I love about Maria Shield, though. Maria Shield she writes, so this one takes place in ancient Greece, but the rest of her books are set in modern times, but they have this Greek mythology element to them. And so she sort of describes them as, if you liked Percy Jackson as a kid, these are your adult emphasis on the adult version of your Percy Jackson stories. So she has her series is called The Order of Olympus, and we have heroes, we have Greek gods and mythology sort of mixed in with a lot of her stories. They are really fantastic, and they tend more on that like 3.5 to 4 level. But if you're going to be writing about mythologies, at some point you got to bring the monsters in,
Right.
Yeah.
and the Minotaur was right there, ready to be told. So anyway, so so highly recommend all of her books that are out there. She has some. The Order of Olympus is the name of that series.
All right, cool. Did you have any others that you wanted to mention? Maybe a Curvy Blades book?
I do have a Curvy Blades book I want to talk about. Oh my gosh. So this is for anybody who, the book I was going to talk about is called Forest for the Trees. And a lot of people go on vacation to national parks during our summer vacations.
Yes,
So
I
we
do.
got to talk about Forest for the Trees because this features two park rangers who are falling in love ever so quietly. Again, we've got a nice little workplace romance. There's beautiful scenery, there's lots of hikes. There's something serious is happening in the park, and they have a mystery that they have to figure
Ooh.
out and solve. But it is so which is a lot of fun. But I love the banter between these two. They are different types of people that come at their job in different ways, and just really really love the chemistry that they have together. And I really love the setting of this is part of the Penny Reid sort of universe, the Smarty
Ooh.
Pants romance. Yeah. And this is another one. It won a ton of awards. This particular book, The Forest for the Trees, it's a Stiletto Award winner. It's a Maggie Award winner. It's an Emma Award winner. Kilby always writes a really fantastic book. She has quite a few books that are out in the world, including these Smarty Pants romances. So this is Green Valley Heroes book 1, and then there is another one. And
Awesome.
the name of that is escaping me at the moment, but just believe me when I tell you that there is another one. So
All right.
highly, highly recommend all of the Kilby Blades books. She's another person who she just writes a really wonderful book. And I love that she kind of got connected up with the Smarty Pants romance to kind of write in that world, because that's just another really great world to be within. So
Yeah.
highly recommend, guys.
Yes. Yeah, I love the Smarty Pants universe, I guess it is. Yeah, I love that whole universe. Obviously, Smarty Pants, they have a little bit of a nerdy bend to them,
Mhm.
just enough nerdy to satisfy us nerdy romantics. And so, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm loving it. I'm loving all of these books, ladies. I'm
No,
loving all of these books.
it's always, nerds are great. When I said before, like, I love people who are really good at their jobs, who just have whether it's a STEM job or whatever, that they are just absolutely super intelligent, super smart people. They may not understand how relationships work, but they know their
Right.
job. And I think that's a key part of just being a really fabulous nerd. So
Mhm.
Exactly, exactly. And both main characters in Forest for the Tree. I read that one as well. Both main characters in Forest for the Trees, they are really good at their jobs and they really
mhm.
love their jobs
Yeah.
as park rangers. So, I mean, I love it. I love all of these books that we have been mentioning here. And Carla, we've had you on. Now, I know you have at least one beach romance in
I
your
do. Yeah.
collection. How about tell us
So
about it?
I'll tell you about my first one, which is a total beach read. It's Blue Hawaiian. It's set in Maui in July, so we're talking
Oh,
really beachy.
ultimate.
And the plot's a lot like the one you mentioned, Only for the Week, because it's Jess. Her sister Gabby is getting married. Gabby is a bridezilla. She's type A. She's sort of the bossy one. Jess is a disaster-prone hot mess. And unfortunately, when she arrives, her plane has been delayed 6 hours. They've lost her luggage. She's had like Coke spilled all over. So she had to buy a very sort of low cut t shirt at LAX when she was stuck there at a layover. She's her worst self. She runs into Connor, her first love, who's a groomsman, because Gabby is marrying Connor's cousin. And he sort of looks at her like, nice shirt. And
Right.
right away and she's like, it's so late that there's no place to, no Ubers, and he's like, I'll drive you to the hotel, and she's stuck with him. And Jess and Connor, like, they had this fling 5 years ago, and he kind of ghosted her, so she's really mad at him, and he feels kind of bad about it because he was kind of a mess too. These are not people who were good at their jobs. These guys were both messed up, but they're both trying to get better. They're both trying to do better. And even though they've been warned off each other, like, don't get involved with Jess, don't get involved with Connor, hijinks ensue. You're in a tropical resort.
Of course.
So I did want, and I do want to mention one other book because you talked about people who are good at their jobs. I'm going to grab it. So this one is Troy Story, and this is about
I love
two
that one.
archaeologists who are both really good at their jobs, and they're working at Troy, and they've been friends since they were children, and that's friends to lovers. But they're both like, she's an artist, she's an archaeological illustrator, which is a really distinct skill. He is an classical archaeologist. They're both really smart and driven, but they're kind of clueless when it comes to relationships. And there's a bit of intrigue in this one, but this is set in Turkey also, which is, again, another fun place to visit. Istanbul is in this, and
nice.
They go on like sailing at one point. So that's, even though Blue Hawaiian is more beach, the other Troy Story is fun too, because it's also, if you like, they're very nerdy. Both Stuart and Dusty, the characters from Troy Story, are super nerdy. They're both into the classics. They love the Iliad and the Odyssey. Wow. And they make lots of nerdy classical references. So
I love that. I love all of these. Oh my gosh. I'm having so much fun right now talking about books to y'all that I don't want to end this, but I know our listeners have a time limit sometimes, okay? But y'all gonna have to come back, and we have to talk more about more romance.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yeah. I love doing this. And so, Jen, as you know, some of our nerdy romantics are not just readers, but they're writers like Carla and I. So, Jen, do you have anything going on that you want to mention for us writers out there?
Oh, absolutely. So, for those that don't know, I am an author coach. And what that means is I'm here to help you with your book's business and mindset. So I help authors really kind of get things done and figure out what they need to do next. So I am always here to chat. I offer a number of coaching sessions. And if you aren't sure what a coaching session is, or whether that's what you need, or whether I'm the right coach for you, because there's lots of coaches out there, I offer a free 30-minute discussion. You can go to my website, jengraybeal.com. And I know that Yvonne's going to help me out and put that in the notes. But
yes.
jengraybeal.com, you can sign up for a free coaching session. So those are always available. And then this fall, I will be running my 6-week coaching intensive Work It. And that program is, we spend 2 weeks on books, 2 weeks on business, and 2 weeks on mindset. So whatever it is that you need to work on, this is the thing. This is where you really find that focus. So I hope that you guys will be there.
I love this. I love all of this. It's just making me feel wonderfully good inside. We're talking about books. We're talking about writing books. We're reading books. We're planning. It's all lovely. And as always, I love having y'all on. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi. Isn't it great when you find awesome reads like the ones on this episode? If you liked getting these book recs and want more, then subscribe to Nerdy Romantics newsletter at ymnelson.com/subscribe. Nerdy Romantics newsletter not only has nerdy and romantic recs, but sneak peeks and exclusives of my spicy nerdy romances and love stories. I love talking about sci-fi, superheroes, fantasy, and romance, books, movies, and shows with my friends. So share this podcast with your nerdy romantic friends. Thanks for listening and for watching.